Hi there, my name's Sean Brown and I'm an outreach worker for Cornwall Dyslexia Association. We're a charity who provide advice and support for dyslexic people in Cornwall, as well as raising awareness of dyslexia. 1 in 10 people are dyslexic, and in this short film we're going to meet a number of dyslexic professionals in Cornwall to find out about what they do and what dyslexia means to them. But firstly, let's find out a bit more about what dyslexia actually is.
Hello, my name's Julia Smith and I'm a dyslexia assessor and teacher. Dyslexia is a specific learning difference which is genetically inherited. It affects reading, writing, spelling, maths, organisational skills and memory.
Many of our staff and volunteers at Cornwall Dyslexia Association are dyslexic themselves, myself included, and we often talk about the benefits of being dyslexic.
Many dyslexic people are creative, good problem solvers and great with people. A high proportion of business people and entrepreneurs are also dyslexic.
There are inspiring and successful dyslexic people in almost all walks of life, from famous dyslexic people like Keira Knightley, Eddie Izzard, Steven Spielberg and Agatha Christie, to the successful dyslexic people that many of us have in our friends and family. But what about dyslexic people in Cornwall?
Hi, I'm Clive Ackerman. I have a business called Planning with People.
Hi, I'm Dig Eastman. I'm a graphic designer.
My name's Henry Crone. I work for the BRE National Solar Centre as a consulting solar engineer.
For the last 50 years, I was wondering why I struggled academically to read a full book, to understand all sorts of things that were to do with literature and teaching in the traditional way. So I left school with nothing. I left school with 2 CSEs, one of which was in PE because I was good at running, the other community services, community studies, because I was good with people. But anything academically, I was seen as a failure. I pursued a career in social work, and people that I worked with recognised my strengths and my skills and supported me to become somebody who could understand the social world that I lived in. I achieved quite highly because people believed in me and supported me to understand what I needed to do in terms of academics. Therefore, I'm now a social worker, qualified social worker. I have 3 master's level qualifications and a PhD. And it wasn't until after I got my PhD that we began to wonder why my 9-year-old son was struggling at school. His writing wasn't great, his understanding of comprehension of English wasn't brilliant, and he was really finding it difficult to translate what he was learning into written work. And so we contacted the Dyslexia Association, and sure enough, together we identified that we were both dyslexic.
I first found out I was dyslexic when I was younger. I was a bit, slow at school, and so thankfully my mum and my dad they basically got me to see this lady called Mrs. Chalkley after school, and she was amazing. And she set up this great system for me, or just a way of learning. Basically, we had these cards, and every letter in the alphabet had a image on it. Basically, I can't tell the difference between B and P till I say P for pig or B for big. And that is, I do that in my brain. But that's all set up from Mrs. Chalkley because she basically did a P for pig and a B for big. And so I basically have that system in my head that I do, and I'll probably do it for the rest of my life, and that was all from Mrs. Chalkley.
So I was never really diagnosed with dyslexia at secondary school, and I was always kind of considered a bit of a troublemaker. So I left school thinking that I wasn't really particularly academic, and spent a few years kind of working sort of fairly hands-on manual jobs. I kind of later decided to go back to university and have another shot at it. And given the help I got and the diagnosis for dyslexia, I sort of flourished in an academic context like I'd never done before, really.
So after I had my dyslexic screening at university, that's when I got quite a lot of help through the government for that. Like I used to see, for writing essays and stuff like that, I used to see a lady at the university, and she basically helped structure essays, because I find it difficult to sort of structure words and put it in the right order basically. So yeah, that was really helpful.
So after my dyslexia assessment, I got given a number of pieces of equipment to help me out sort of in my education. I also got given extra time in exams, which was a big one for me, because I'd always struggled with exams in the past. But also got one-on-one support with particular subjects that I really struggled with. So I got people to spell check my work, which was nice.
For me, dyslexia is like knowing something in my brain and not being able to communicate it to you or to somebody. Like sometimes I'll know stuff. I'll know a name of something. I'll know who somebody's called visually. I can see the letters, but I can't pronounce the letters. So I know stuff, but I can't tell you because I can't pronounce it basically. But I can see it. So it's like really frustrating for me. And for others, I'm sure. I
see my dyslexia as it gives me an ability to think outside the box, which kind of in turn makes me quite good at problem solving and things like that. So like in high school, that was never really valued, but now I'm a member of a team, in an office. Being able to find solutions to problems and solve them is actually really valuable.
Well, it helps us to think in different ways. It helps us to do things in different ways. And because we can do that, it means that we can be innovative, creative, and find ways for others to do things that they're struggling with too.
I think as a graphic designer and an illustrator and general creative, I've got to solve problems a lot, usually visual problems. And I feel like being dyslexic and having the brain that I have, I can find like not solve the problem like other people would. Like I feel like I end up going down a sort of back alley, going off and then coming back around to solving the problem, but in a different way to other people.
I think dyslexic people are kind of often more entrepreneurial and creative and better problem solvers, and I think actually that's really valuable in the workplace.
So what advice would I give to somebody who's living with dyslexia and just starting out on your career? Don't be afraid. Don't let it define you. Do learn. Do go to university. Do make sure that people that you're studying with and alongside understand that you have dyslexia. And if they don't, help them to be creative. You be creative in the way that you learn. I've never read a full book from the start to the finish. I have a PhD. I have dyslexia, I have a career, and that's because people have helped me to define who I am.
Work out what your strengths are and play to them, and make sure that your team and your boss know really what they are. And if there's things you're not so good at, just don't be afraid to ask for help and let people know that this isn't where your strengths lie.
I think if I was to give some advice to people starting out in their career, is that there's so much help out there. You're not alone. I think 1 in 10 of us are dyslexic, so there's so much more awareness of it now. It's not anything to be ashamed of.
So it's pretty clear that there are some real benefits to being dyslexic, as well as difficulties, and that there are some fantastic opportunities in Cornwall for dyslexic people in both work and training, in everything from solar energy to illustration. If you're dyslexic, or you think you might be, then Cornwall Dyslexia Association can provide advice and guidance and dyslexia screenings and assessments to help you overcome any difficulties you may have and to unlock the benefits of being dyslexic. For more information, give us a call on 01872 222 911 or visit our website at cornwalldyslexia.org.uk.